Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Like my son, he's 7. He's about to be 8, and he's super smart. I mean, like, I don't know where he got this from. I mean, it was like he must have got it from my sister because he didn't get it from me or my wife. Like, where these brains come from, right? And he's always been crazy smart. Like when he was like 2.5 years old, he was reading the ticker on the bottom of the news ticker. Like he was reading some words from that, not like reading it, but like picking out words. It was crazy. Like we're like, what the heck? Is he reading that? I mean, he's just super smart, and he's off the charts with his IQ and testing and all that. And I noticed, like, we're always telling him how smart he is, and he has this little glee of like, yeah, I'm smart. Like when we tell him that stuff. I was never told that. That was because I wasn't smart. So like my parents were like, Eric, you're so smart. It was more like, dude, you're not smart, so you need to try harder. You're not smart, so you're not smart like they are. Whatever. It was more like that. It was more, borderline abuse than it was like you're you're smart, right? So I thought about that. I thought about that a lot, and I'm like, maybe we shouldn't be telling him he's smart all the time, because then it becomes kind of a detriment. Because I've had a lot of clients that are super smart, yet I can't get them to do anything because they don't want to disappoint mommy or daddy, or some invisible force in their head that tells them that they don't want to fail. You know what I mean? Like my son he'll already throw a fit if he can't figure out a homework problem. And I'm like, oh man, it's just a problem. So what if you get an 80 on your test? You know what I mean? Like, just skip it. Like it's a complete different mindset. And I think there's something to be said for people like me who didn't make straight A's, and we weren't the smartest, tool in the shed, but the sharpest tool in the shed. But we were able to overcompensate that or overcome that by just letting it fly, you know? So I don't know. Something there can be said about that.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah, because like if you are unwilling to try because it puts your own feelings of, hey, if I fail, I'm no longer smart, and like somehow in your own mind it takes you down a peg. Maybe you won't try the things that are gonna end up working for you just out of that fear of not being as smart as people think you are, or as you think
Exactly.
you are.
It's a fear of ridicule type of thing. It
Hmm.
magnifies the feeling of the failure, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And I think it's good to probably teach my son how to pick himself up and dust himself off than it is to, keep filling his head full of him being a genius, and then he walks around, not wanting to disappoint that label that's already been put on him, and that can prevent him from being courageous to take the action necessary to achieve. Like
Yeah,
for
exactly.
example, in baseball, I mean, I'm started working on him pitching because he's got a pretty good arm. He's a lefty, and that's new for him, and he doesn't want to do it. It's outside his comfort zone. Where I think it's an example of having a label of being a very good hitter, and then not wanting to do something new because, well, he's not good at it yet. So I don't know, something like that I see happening a lot in business owners. They don't want to disappoint themselves or those around them, or even parents, that could not even be on the planet anymore. They still don't want to disappoint, so they don't take the risky actions.
Which I think goes to a lot of people who are listening to this. Like a lot of them, are going to be just starting out. They're thinking even like doing $10,000 a month in revenue seems like an impossibility. I think that same thing applies to them and all of us, where we need to get over that fear of failure and just start trying things and then adjust course based on the results.
Yeah, like $10,000 a month. Like, to me, the way I look at that is all you got to do is get 10 people to give you $1,000. So to me, that's a piece of cake. But to others that haven't done it, well, it's like, oh yes, make it sound easy. How do you get 10 people to give you $1,000? Like, that's such a ton of cash. And it's like, okay, that's where you start. Is you start at the top of a page, and you put the words "you get," and then you start listing out what they get, and then you ask yourself the question, what would I spend $1,000 on? And you What would I spend $1,000 on and be just freaking thrilled to spend that $1,000, like bending over, doing jumping jacks, backflips because I just spent that thousand. Like you're thrilled you spent $1,000. So you just list it out. Okay, for $1,000 you get, we'll write the sales copy for you on your sales letter, and we'll install your sales letter for you. We'll do the graphics for you, professional graphics like these. We will consult you on that. We will split test the headlines for you for 14 months. We will, and you just come up with a list of what you'll do for them, and then you're like $1,000. And then it's a no-brainer. It's an irresistible offer. And then the customers and clients are like, "Are you serious? You're going to give this to me for only $1,000?" Yep. Where do I buy? They're ready to buy. So all you need is 10 of those people. That's it. I call that selling out. You just sell out the offer. Like make the offer just so stupid, ridiculous, sick that people can't help but to buy it. And that overcomes a lot of stuff like, lack of credibility in the marketplace, lack of authority or celebrity, lack of results and proof, lack of statistics, lack of testimonials, lack of know-how. I mean, just coming up with a really irresistible, amazing, sick, ridiculous offer that's a no-brainer for people, an offer they can't refuse. Boom, you could get 10. Anyone could get 10 people in a month to give you $1,000 if you come up with a real good offer. Like, let me say one more thing about that. There was a guy years ago who lived in Houston, and so did the marketer friend of mine. So a marketer friend of mine lived in Houston, and he said, "Man, there's this guy here locally who decided he's a technical guy, and he decided that he wanted to quit his job and he wanted to make $10,000 a month. So what he did is he made an offer for $100 a month, and told people he would be their technical webmaster for $100 a month. Well, he got 100 people in like a week. Now that sounds crazy, right? 100 people? He's going to kill himself. He's going to just be working 20-hour days, right? To try to handle 100 people needing him to do all kinds of stuff. Well, no, he won't, because it's the 80-15-5 rule. 80% of those people that are paying him $100 a month aren't going to ask him for jack. So they'll go the whole month and not have asked him to do one single thing for them because they're busy. 15% of them will ask him to do very common things that'll take him minutes to do as a webmaster. 5% of them will drive him insane, asking him for everything under the sun, right? And those are the 5% that he needs to fire. Yeah, so the 5% is really all he's worrying about, and all we're worrying about when we think of that whole concept. 5% will indeed drive you insane, drive you crazy. They'll be texting you, calling you, sending you mail, complaining. Nothing will work, and they'll send you 18 emails a day. Those 5%, just fire them. It's only $100 a month. You could replace them very easily. So, it's the 80-20 rule, but I think it's more the 80-15-5 rule when it comes to things like that. So presto, he had $10,000 a month instantly in a week. Quit his job. So it's not hard to make $10,000 a month if you think, like we've talked about, putting yourself in the customer's shoes and coming up with a sick, ridiculous, irresistible, no-brainer offer they can't refuse.